the stock market, meaning companies' new highs.
I'm not fucking leaving.
The show goes on.
Nuts! They're nuts! They know nothing!
An online network called Internet.
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
Welcome, my degenerates. The rest of your life starts right now on Market Mania. This is the no bullshit approach to all financial markets, including political betting, Bitcoin, and the largest casino in the world, the U.S. stock market. Today on Market Mania, we open up the mailbag once again. SNDL, we'll get the rundown on that. It's all pumping today. RIOT Blockchain hires a poker player for the CEO, and top story, Doug Polk, our special guest. Thank you very much for being here. Talk to us about the challenge that ended with you up a milli.
Yeah, so the challenge that I recently concluded was a heads-up grudge match between me and Daniel Negreanu. The stakes were about a $40,000 buy-in, and we played 25,000 hands. And long story short, over the course of 3 months, I ended up winning $1.2 million. I think what's really notable about this event, there was a truly astronomical amount of money that was bet on this event. We had tons of side bets. I think the line opened at roughly 4-1 in my favor. And then, of course, you could bet second half. You could bet, you could crossbook, basically lay some price on me or get some on Daniel. And basically, I think this might have been the number one, if I had to bet, the number one gambling poker event of all time. If not, it's certainly up there. Yeah. Pretty crazy.
It's pretty cool when you. I lost 1,000.
I'm sorry, Mike. It's pretty cool when you invent your own challenge. You come up with a guy, you guys agree to terms, and then there's online betting sites just booking your action, booking people's action randomly on your little endeavor that just created out of thin air, and now it's just all over the world. People betting from all over different countries. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, what was really interesting too, there was one site, I forget which one it was, whether it was Betfair or Bet Online or one of these bigger sites. Basically, when it opened, they didn't have any experts setting the line, so they just had even money. So you could just bet on me at even money versus Daniel. And obviously money poured in on my side, and then they shut down the market, but all these bets were booked. And then they didn't know the format, and halfway through they just paid out. So when I won the first half, they just paid everybody out that I'd won the challenge, which luckily didn't end up mattering, but it was a pretty big fuck up over at Bet Online or whatever, whichever side it was that ended up making that bet.
I will raise my hand. I lost 1K on this. I saw the 5-1 right away. I didn't know. I thought you were much better. I wanted to bet on you. And then they it's minus 500. It's like, well, now I don't want to bet on you. It's like anybody can run bad for 25,000 hands heads up. But it turns out you can't. That was the lesson learned here. Trevor, enjoy my 1K.
Can I just say, before the challenge started, I asked Doug, I said, Doug, I think it was 6-1 at the time. I said, what do you think your true chances are? He said, Matt, I cannot lose. I can't lose. Trust me, I can't lose. And he was right.
So is it really that solved, Doug? Is it really, really that solved? Like you just max confidence, like never a run bad situation here?
Well, there's always some chance. I don't mean 0.000% I can't lose, but
what you calculated at?
Very, very unlikely. It was tough to calculate because I don't know how good he's going to be, right? The wild card here is him. I know I'm going to be really good. I know I'm an extremely good heads-up player. I worked hard to play at a top level. The wild card question really was how good is Daniel going to be? And I think if he had played the way he played by the end of the challenge, he actually would have had a fighting chance. I think his style early on just wasn't that good, and that made it a pretty tough one for him to win.
I tried to buy out after the first online session, if it makes you feel any better.
Fun fact here, Mike, on a week after the election. So Trump, they're still trying to figure out who won the election. We were in chat, me and Doug, and I said, I think that betting on Trump, on Biden here to win the election after the election is a better bet than betting on you versus Daniel. And Doug went through the math and explained to me why he's more of a favorite in the bet against Daniel than Biden was against Trump after the election.
Well, but the thing is there, though, you had to lay more on Biden, so you had to factor that into the, your ROI.
Not much, a little bit more.
Also, just to go back to that, I was getting 5-1, Brian. Getting good odds doesn't mean it's a good bet. And I just figured I'd explain this. There was two fighters, you may have heard of them, McGregor and Mayweather. I'm not sure. Small guys, not really very big time. Probably hadn't heard of that fight. But you could get some real nice odds on McGregor, right? Not a good bet. Or you could go for
I
it.
was mega long Floyd. That was the biggest percentage of net bet I ever made in my life.
I think I had a good tweet during that. I tweeted, if McGregor wins this fight, the high stakes poker community is about to become the mid stakes poker community because everyone was just piled in on Mayweather for that one.
There was an image that never left me from that. It was McCarran Airport the morning of the fight. There's like a giant 60-foot Irish flag coming down the escalator, and like the country song, whatever it is, just had nothing but red-haired dudes that were just about to pour into those sports books and fire on McGregor.
Absolutely.
I think there's a good gambling lesson to be learned here also that Doug kind of brought up, is whenever there's long odds on an outcome of an event, especially sports or poker or anything like that, you got to realize nobody likes to lay odds. No one just inherently likes to lay odds. Humans like to take odds. So the odds, the laid odds are always lower than what they actually should be in reality, whether it's a sporting event or the poker event, because nobody really wants to lay the odds. So we're
gonna get to this RIOT blockchain story in a second, but I just got one last question for Doug about this. So for when you started this, like, why do you think Daniel took this bet? Didn't it seem like he was just gonna get punished no matter what? Like, it just, like, I'm scared of poker now. Like, games passed me by. I was never as good as you, and like I'm terrified to play anything now. I just assume I'm just a massive dog. Everybody's a solver. Like, how did this come to, why?
Well, you are a massive dog, so it's good you feel that way. And, this challenge, it is a little confusing. He took it. I think when he said he'd play, it seemed a bit weird. I think there can be so many reasons behind the curtains. For starters, he was trying to promote the site that he's a pro for, GG Poker. I wouldn't be surprised if they helped make this a reality. I don't have any information on that, but it wouldn't be shocking to me. And then I also think that Daniel had a team of people he thought could really get him to a high level, so he felt it would be very competitive. Maybe he underestimated a bit sort of where the game would be at, or rather what he'd be facing. There's a bunch of reasons that I think could make sense. And then, of course, there's also the promotion publicity aspect to it. I think Daniel's someone that does like to be in the limelight when he gets an opportunity to do so. So I think there's a bunch of stuff here that could have made it worth his while, but I didn't think it was going to happen, but here we are.
I do appreciate you giving us something like Matt said at the beginning, creating a market out of nothing, something to bet on while everybody was locked in their houses for a year. And it certainly was fun to watch. Now, I guess you have a little bit of perspective on this too, Doug. Jason Less, strangely, I don't know who this poker player is now the CEO of RIOT Blockchain.
Yes, he is. And I want to kick this off with a story about Jason that I guess I've never asked him if it's cool to tell publicly, but it's pretty fucking hilarious. And he's the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company now. So I think we're pretty much good to go. So when I first moved to Vancouver, Jason was a student of mine, and he was going to come live with me, and we were going to hang out. I was going to teach him how to play, all that kind of stuff. And so he was traveling up to Vancouver. He gets stopped at the border, all right? I'm playing. I'm on my computer. I get a phone call. I look down. I don't recognize the number. I say, hello? He said, Doug, yes, this is the Vancouver border police. We have a Jason Les here. Do you know this person? I said, yeah, I know Jason. He said, right. Well, we just want to call and let you know he's not a very good poker player. This is the Canadian border police.
Oh.
And so my response is, Fees, you fucking with me? Who is this? What's going on here? This is obviously some kind of troll. And he said, no. This is the Canadian border police, or border patrol, whatever it would be called, and we made him have to show us his bank accounts, and he didn't have a lot of money in there, so he's not good at poker. so I said, okay, well, can he come through can you let him in? And they say, okay, well, we're only going to let him into the country because he knows you, so we'll let him in, but just wanted you to know that. What the hell was that?
Security, huh?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Your government money at work.
Government money at work, indeed. But I could not be happier for Jason. This has been one of my closest friends over the years. He's just a stand-up great guy. He got involved with RIOT 3, 4, 5 years ago. I forget the exact date. The moment he got involved, I bought some RIOT, and I just my takeaway was, I know Jason. I know how hard he works. I know the kind of character that he has. He's always, worked extremely hard, and he's someone that you can trust and believe in. And I saw that this media narrative swirling around Riot at this time, and it was just, Riot's a scam. They're cashing in on blockchain. They're just trying to pretend that they're a real company.
I remember that.
And I'm thinking,
I bought it.
that
I
cannot be true.
bought the story. I always
Okay.
thought that it was ingrained in my head from like all this, I guess, just news media. I didn't really look under the hood too much. That Riot was just some strange scammy, put the name in like the Lemonade Company or something, and just pump.
Well, there was a lot of that going on with other companies at the time, but the thing is, I'm a big believer in investing in people, and I know Jason so well for so many years that there's no fucking chance that if Jason is working at this company, that it's just a scammy, fake blockchain company. That's just simply not fucking possible. He wouldn't be there. So
100%.
just on that alone, I bought some Riot. I did end up selling some on the way down, but I held some, so we ended up. I think I probably ended up. Is it at $39 fucking right now?
39. And Doug,
Okay.
you said it was at 60 cents maybe like a year ago?
Not even a year ago, I think.
Yeah,
I think not even a year ago.
the Rona crash, it's down to 70 cents, 60 cents, and now you just get a quick 60, 75x, no big deal. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, so anyway, now it's obviously they made the announcement the other day or a day or two ago that he's now the CEO of the company, which is fucking crazy. I had no idea that he had worked his way sort of up that high, and I'm really happy for him. He's a guy that deserves all the success that he has here. He's worked extremely hard, even when times were tough, and obviously to have to go through the shit storm the media put Riot through at a time when they were really trying to actually run a legitimate business, that fucking sucks. The media can obviously turn on you, and then you have to deal with this type of stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. I think he'll do a fantastic job, and I see nothing but good things for Riot in the future.
I'm doing a little math here, Mike, and I'm thinking 70 cents, 60 cents a share. Now it's 39. Now Jason Less is the CEO. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jason Less is richer than Doug Polk. I mean, it's $1 billion company. He's the CEO. I'm thinking minimum 50 million there. So I think he's got.
We can get the Canadian Border Patrol to take another look at the old bank account and see who's calling who now, huh?
He's a good poker player now.
I hope the shoe doesn't end up on the other foot.
So, speaking of which, everything is pumping, Doug Polk. Thanks for being on the show again. The whole crypto market, 1.38 trillion. During that challenge, I know you probably had to sock away some money either in the stock market. You just had to, what are you going to do while you're concentrating on the old challenge there? What did you choose, or where did you like to allocate?
Yeah, so my investment strategy going into the challenge was to be a little less hands-on with trying to, either trade different smaller altcoins, or basically I wanted to have just a pretty reasonable allocation towards all the asset classes that I think will win. And, I think it's simple. I think the stock market wins, Bitcoin wins, real estate wins. I think that these asset classes are just long-term going to increase in value. So I took a pretty evenish position between Bitcoin, just some general total market ETFs, some VXUS, VTI, that type of stuff, and then also just some smaller real estate funds and things like that. So I took a pretty vanilla approach, although obviously a bunch of Bitcoin, so I don't know if that's as vanilla as maybe some people might feel it is, but to me at least that was a pretty vanilla balanced portfolio, because I didn't really want to have to think about what am I doing today, am I okay with my positions during a time when I was so focused on something else. So I had a pretty just solid baseline investment strategy during this.
So that probably didn't do too bad for you. Just pick up a milli and then just shove it onto Bitcoin before, not all obviously, but just pretty big exposure to Bitcoin, and then win the challenge and your Bitcoin like 4x or whatever also.
Yeah, but I think Bitcoin tripled from beginning of challenge to end of challenge. Pretty much.
Yeah, Bitcoin, I made more in Bitcoin than this challenge, and I didn't have to do anything for
Wow.
that. So that's
love it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, should I have done this now? But you never know when the run-up's going to happen. It's not.
You don't know.
It could have been last year, right? It could have been you never know. Here's my general thesis on Bitcoin. I've said this since 2014, 13. I've been on podcasts back then saying to buy Bitcoin. I've been pro Bitcoin for a long fucking time. I'm not an OG. I wasn't around when it was $1, but since Bitcoin was around 100 or something like that, I've been around.
Pretty
Bitcoin,
good. It's pretty good these days.
Pretty good, right?
Good. You can just about claim OG status there.
You're not like Mike on
G passes.
I'm not Mike on.
So that's back
No,
in
you
the
get
day.
G pass given. It's close enough at this
Okay.
stage, with all the crap running around. Yeah.
Bitcoin is going to long-term win. It's just going to. It will long-term win. Now, there will be swings. It will have big days it goes down. It will have big days it goes up. There's going to be a lot of volatility. You can go through multi-year downturns. That can happen too. There will be fucking swings. But long-term, this thing will win. It's just a question of by how much. So if you want to win, you invest in Bitcoin.
Doug
Just that
sounds
simple.
like one of those old curmudgeons in the stock market that say you can't time the market. You can't time. You just got to be in.
I
Matt,
mean,
what do you
that's
think
not
about
bad
that?
advice.
Great.
I'm not doing it
Fantastic
advice, but
advice.
say to
Matt,
remind
what do
you.
you think about that? Like, are we going to ever get a glance allocation into BTC? Just a little, instead of having a cash position?
At one point, I had a lot of Bitcoin in 2017. I mean, a big portion of my net worth. But after I went down, I sold almost all of it around 8,000. So I'm regretting that tremendously. But I did have it at one point. Now it's a very, very small, minute percentage of my net worth. So it's not even worth talking about.
Have fun staying poor if you're not going to listen to Doug Polk. So Tony, the producer, is going to join us and tell us about some weed.
Absolutely. I tell you what, weed is recession proof. There's always money for a sack of weed, I guarantee it. And as we look at this market potentially topping off here, you might want to be looking at some recession proof stocks. Now, Sundial had a real big day today. They are just cruising. Let's see if I can pull up that chart here. And the reason this is turning around for them is because the prevailing political winds are changing. I think eventually, with the Biden administration, marijuana will be legalized. Now, Sundial's a Canadian company, but they are just going to flood the states with weed legally instead of just coming down through the normal channels. Now, there is some headwind ahead of Sundial. It may not all be gravy. They've got regulatory hurdles to overcome. They may be overpriced. I mean, this market cap could all just be FOMO based. They haven't actually turned a profit yet. But I just think that if weed becomes legal, Sundial would be a great place to be. And if the feds can get the regulations right and not end up competing with the black market, this could be gravy. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this a safe bet?
I think it's really good that they haven't turned a profit yet. If they had, I think we're looking at something a lot more dangerous. So it's nice to hear that they're still in the red.
Tony, it's very much like the online gaming market or the sports betting market, like the DraftKings and the Barstool Sports, all that stuff. So it's like a new opening market where everything's getting legalized state by state. So it's an exciting market. And the sports betting market, the sports betting stocks have done really well. So it looks like the pot stocks are basically on that same path.
Well, that's good. And just from a personal standpoint, I mean, come on, in the land of the free, less and less so as the weeks go by, but in the land of the free, why isn't weed legal? This is just crazy to me. But this represents real opportunity. I've got some, full disclosure, and weed too. And so we just gotta ride this thing up. But
yeah, I'm buying spot right here. I'm buying spot weed.
Right on. Well, hey, Doug, thanks for coming on, man. It's good to see you again. We first met during the Cloud Co Challenge, and that was incredible. And then since then, we've just seen so many amazing poker moments. Poker history has been made with both of us in the room at times. So it's been really awesome. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem. It's good to be on. Appreciate that, Tony.
Tony, the producer, with the skinny on the Sundial weed stock. All right.
We need you back, Tony, for the mailbag.
We gotta take Tony. Break your sack out again.
Right.
Yep. Why would you leave? You got your sack coming. So
That's right.
What do we have for Doug Polk today from the Market Mania mailbag?
Are Doug and Daniel best friends now? From Stephen Dahl.
No. I hope they're all that good.
Because I know what that listener's asking. This has to be a tough L for the gentleman to take. I mean, this is probably a tough L. Just everybody, you get to take your victory lap I don't know.
He handled it well at the end. He really did.
Yeah, I think he took it well overall. When you go into a heads-up match, someone's going to lose. And I think about back to when I started playing heads-up at higher stakes, when I'd meet people in real life. Sometimes I meet a guy, I'd lost 500K to that guy, or I'd won 400K. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I'm not upset or angry at that person for having won money against me. It's just that's the nature of the beast, right? If you play with someone one-on-one, somebody wins. So I think he has a pretty good view of just sort of the way that it functions, and I think he took it well overall.
We got a question here from just had it. It was Hafiz Hamani. Thoughts on the BMBL IPO? You guys know anything about that?
No idea.
Nope.
Never
Zero
heard of it.
here.
Bumble IPO. Okay.
Oh, Bumble. I know Bumble. I have no idea about the IPO or what the valuation.
Swipey right, swipey left one.
Yeah. It's like Tinder. Same thing.
There's an IPO for that. There's a token for it.
No, there's an IPO stock this week for Bumble.
They're selling super likes now, like in token format. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Yep,
the idea behind Bumble is that women choose the guys, but do women really want a non-assertive guy that's just sitting there waiting to get picked up? I don't know. Maybe ladies are different these days, but
isn't that how it works already?
Well, kind of. I mean, it's a good way out of the Me Too problem, but I don't know. I don't think it'll work. But what do I know? I have no luck on dating apps. Let's see. Is your crypto YouTube channel dead? And are you into yield farming on Ethereum?
So I'm not currently planning on making crypto content. It's a bit too fair weather with when things are good or bad, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. You were so tied to the market. If I made a video and things were going really well, it would do really well. But then if there was a downturn for a year, it wouldn't. And I just don't want to have to be in a space where I feel that it's so not related to me, but just the market itself, where I'm just tied to that. It didn't seem worth it. And then
there a time preference thing now, Doug? Do you want to be doing that? I mean, it seems like you're at the point where if you wanted to kick your feet up, you could do that, or you could create whatever you wanted to.
For sure. My favorite moments, frankly, were just dunking on scammers. So if a good moment comes up to dunk on some scammers, I'm always down to get back in there and dunk on whoever needs to get dunked on. So if that could happen for sure, but consistent long-term content, it's just too grindy for me. I'm not.
My first foray into the Bitcoin space on Bitcoin Talk in 2011 and 12 was dunking all over Butterfly Labs and the Pirate at 40 Ponzi. Is how old school Bitcoiners know me from. I grabbed a video camera back when that was still a new thing to do and just hit him up at CES to ask Butterfly Labs, like, hey, what's this machine? And then Josh Zerlin, he gave me an actual quarter and told me to go buy a clue. It was great. It was amazing. It was really fun time. But I'm willing to dunk on scammers with you if you ever need like a sidekick for that.
Nice.
I'm serious. No, I don't want any money. I don't need any pay. I have nothing to show.
Oh, that's good because I wasn't going to pay you.
Hey, that'd make another good TV show.
Yeah, let's do it. In fact, keep me in the loop. If you see some scammers in the crypto space coming up, you let me know, and then maybe that'll be the kick me into gear.
I would like to see that YouTube show.
BTC, it looks like an insolvent KYC scam right now for anybody out there that they're an old shitcoin exchange that used to be good, and then
which one?
It's called Hit BTC.
Oh yeah,
BTC. You could look in their Reddit, and it's just a trail of tears. And they used to be a good exchange. Now they'll take the deposit, and as soon as they do, they say, "Give me KYC," and then you can often never pass it, no matter how many poses you do to try to satisfy their requests. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, guys, let's give our good viewers the picks of the day. What do you say?
All right. It is time for Doug Polk. Thank you very much for being here. What we do is we grab the not investment advice, do your own research hat, and then we also have to put on the safety glasses because this is the Market Mania pick of the day. Safety glasses on. Don't see where Glance is. He's probably there somewhere. Yeah, you're still here. That's fine.
Time for our picks of the day, not by Matt Glantz.
What is your pick of the day, Glance, wherever you are? Yeah, what's your pick of the day? You're still on it. Oh, there he is.
There we go.
Behind the scenes.
All right. So my pick of the day is NVIDIA. It's $577 a share. Everyone knows it's a gaming chip manufacturer, among other things, autonomous vehicle chip manufacturer. There's a huge chip shortage around the world right now. Companies that use chips to make their own products are having trouble getting chips. So this one's probably going to fly. Yesterday was up 5%. This stock doesn't usually move much, but when it does move, it has big, like 3-4 day moves. So I'm expecting this one to be up big the rest of the week.
Anybody mining Ethereum? Shout to my buddy Reggie. I know he's got the basement heated with that rig come every winter. Also, NVIDIA chips there. Doug Polk, thank you. First Market Mania appearance. What is your pick of the day?
My pick of the day is tried and true. I'm going with the good old classic Bitcoin. It might be expensive today, but guess what? It's going to be more expensive tomorrow, at least in the long run. You buy some of this bad boy, before you know it, you're going to be hodling your way to the moon.
Wow, what a pitch.
Gee, that is brilliant delivery. This is why he is the champ. And I am going to go, Bitcoin, gotta love it. Been touting it for years, you and me. So I'm going with the FTT token. Matt Glantz and I, we now have a new little data mining friend, Jack, that is adding up all the picks of the day. So I got to add FTT token in there because when that thing's 100, it's just an easy 5X on Glance. I am going to have to do pick of the day a few more Bitcoins too, just to really drive that home also. But that is it. That's what you get for today from Market Mania with Doug Polk, special guest. Thank you very much for joining us here. We do appreciate it. It is ape season, if nobody knew that. And you can pick these up at apeszn.com, Alex Weiss's creation. I do not get paid for that. We end with the song from one of the modern day poets, Kendrick Lamar, and his song DNA. And it goes a little something like this. I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece got war and peace inside my DNA. There's something to leave you with. We will do me a favor, subscribe right here on YouTube and follow us on TikTok and Twitter at Market Mania Show, Grown Men on TikTok. We will see you tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow. But for now, it is lights out.
I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Time to right the wrong. So your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold or a domino, out of control. The usual. Get mad cause I'm looking at your girl. Switch it up. I do it so much louder than everything you've heard. Everybody heard, got the word that the world wasn't turning. Act like you're in a jury. Power of attorney where I would turn in. Can't lie like Mississippi burning. Don't act like you're in a daze. I imagine to look the other way. Couldn't clear space on my mind. Was afraid of the time. Strobe light like in the moonlight. I'm in the mood right now. How about tonight? My interview's tight now.